Well, it seems like consistency seems to be, the biggest issue involving the Miami Marlins as the Fish in a must-win series dropped the series opener to the New York Mets by a score of 4-2. You follow up a sweep of the Phillies um, by dropping a series opener in a four-game weekend set that you pretty much have to win, you know, because we all know what's coming with the trade deadline. Me and Colin will be talking about that pretty soon. Hope to get it up by tomorrow. A lot of uncertainty with the trade deadline. A lot of guys that you were not expecting to be involved in trade rumors now being in trade rumors. Several of them I will bring up in this recap. And this is how you come out. Like, the front office is not inclined to keep anybody on a roster, especially when you're coming off a 12-game losing streak. And if Peter Bendix wants to make a move, he will. This team did not help their cause tonight at all. So, you're playing against the moribund, last place, crappy New York Mets, who are without Juan Soto. So there's no excuse coming into the series. We talked about it in the preview earlier, that me and Colin posted earlier today, or yesterday, because now it's past midnight here on the East Coast. And this is what you do. A loss. So why do we lose today? Well, today was pretty much a boring game. There's not much to say about this game tonight, so this recap is not going to be as long. But the offense sucked again today. Now, this loss has felt a lot like our 12-game losing streak, or at least a loss that happened in our 12-game losing streak, in terms of not being productive, wasting a solid start, which I'll get into in a minute, involving Eury Perez. Offense no-shows. The offense no-shows. The only runs by the Marlins today were off of solo shots. The first coming from Kyle Stowers, who began the scoring with his solo shot in the fourth. And then Jacob Marcy tied the game at 2 with the solo shot in the seventh. Those are the only 2 runs the Marlins scored today. So as of late, one of the biggest issues involving this team is that they cannot get on base and that they're now relying on solo shots to score runs. You cannot do that to win baseball games. I'm sorry, but you cannot do that to win baseball games. You have to get on base. We left 6 men on base today. Did not get on base enough. It was awful today. Now, some of that was also bad luck because I don't know how many hard-hit balls end up flying right into the opposing infield's glove, or even in the outfield. It's just ridiculous. Like, every hard-hit ball, it almost feels like every hard-hit ball that we get is an automatic out. So we're not getting luck either there. And then some of our best bats went silent again today. Our most notable bats put up offers, big fat donuts, on the box score tonight. This team recorded 9 total strikeouts. Otto Lopez, all of a sudden now apparently in trade talks. I don't think he's getting dealt. Hopefully he does not. But he went 0 for 4 today. Ediberto Hernandez, 0 for 3 today. And Griffin Conine follows up his magnificent series against the Phillies with an 0 for 4 effort today. Joe Mack, 0 for 3. Also, Graham Pauley went 0 for 3. And I'm going to talk about Graham Pauley in a bit. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about it now. So, Graham Pauley was actually the subject of a great play and an awful play today. And I thought it was worth talking about. So, Graham Pauley actually made one of the best highlight catches of the year. Well, excuse me, I was wrong. Grant Pauly went 0 for or 2 for 3, excuse me. So I got that wrong. I misread that. I apologize. So he went 2 for 3. I kind of knew I got something wrong there. I apologize. So 2 for 3 for Pauly. Don't have my full criticism today because of the because you were able to get 2 hits today. Um, but in the fifth inning, he had this amazing catch in foul territory, left field line, of course, because he's playing at third base. Um, I forgot who popped it up. I forgot what Met batter popped up a ball, but uh, Grant Pauly ended up was just getting carried and carried and carried um, in foul territory on this particular play, and he actually ended up making a phenomenal grab to end the fifth inning, while also stumbling into the tarp that was on the left infield wall, which I thought it was pretty funny, but also a really cool play. So that was awesome. But then in the very next inning, with Eury Perez struggling to get out of it, 2 outs recorded in the inning, Grant Pauly has a chopper, a hopper coming towards him from Luis Robert Jr. And Pauly, all he had to do was pick up the ball, throw to first, and the sixth inning would have been over. Would have, we still would have had it. The Mets would not have been able to score and get the lead, and he lets the ball go by him. So Pauly follows up that amazing catch in the fifth inning by making a calamitous mistake trying to get the pick off the ground, off a chopper from Luis Robert Jr. Just a bad turn of fate for him. But I mentioned Eury Perez, and he was actually solid tonight. He ended up wrapping up the best month of his career, which I'm gonna talk about in a minute. But for today, he was able to toss 6 innings, gave up only 3 hits, allowed 2 runs, one of them being earned. Um, he allowed 2 walks, but I will note that one of the walks that he allowed ended up resulting in a run that scored, so that's not good. But he was also able to toss 6 strikeouts. Now, he had a solid start, like I said, and it's interesting to note because he didn't even have his full command tonight. Christina Di Nicola, who covers the Marlins on Twitter or on MLB.com, every every single game after the starter gets pulled, she posts the pitching chart of that starter's performance on Twitter. Great stuff. Go follow her, by the way, if you haven't. Christina Di Nicola, great, awesome beat writer for the Marlins. And as if you see this pitching chart, you're gonna notice that Eury was all over the place tonight. I mean, pitches were up and out, high, down low, I mean, he was everywhere. And I kind of feel like that's like something that Eury Perez struggles with a lot. Even in his best starts, it kind of seems like he's always had issues in getting full control. Um, and obviously that's resulted in some pretty bad performances for him. Fortunately, tonight was able to get through 6 solid innings, like I said. But I just wanted to mention that it's almost like he always has issues when it comes to his command or control. He's very, very wild. He's so talented and he's so gifted, but he needs to develop better control. He has to. Um, Unfortunately, the sixth inning was where things turned for the worse for him, as he needed 28 pitches to get through the inning, and he was basically pulled. He got through the inning, thank goodness, but he wouldn't be able to go for another one. I believe he threw nearly 100 pitches today, and that sixth inning killed him. But another good thing was that he did not allow an extra base hit, so that's something to note. And I talked about him having the best month of his career, and boy, he definitely has. Since returning from injury, because remember, he got injured by stretching in the dugout in Toronto in our 3-game series against the Blue Jays north of the border. Still don't know how that happened. That was so weird, but after getting injured and after coming back, he returned originally on June 24th. And since his comeback, he has made 7 starts, tossed 46 innings, has posted a 157 ERA, a 0.78 whip, and he's tossed for 40 strikeouts and he's only walked 12 batters. That is awesome. That is awesome. So despite the complaint that I had about his command and his control, Eury still shows that he could be a top-notch quality starting pitcher in this league. Just amazing. This kid is so young and so talented, and I really hope that he continues to develop and get better and develop into the great elite pitcher that I feel he can be. Because imagine if you have a lights out Eury, a consistently lights out Eury with a crazy good command to pair along with Sandy Alcantara. Just thinking about it's just amazing, awesome. But last thing I want to touch on before we wrap things up is the bullpen. So Lake Bacher, who's been pretty bad as of late, he did toss a perfect seventh inning, so that's a good thing for him. But this is where the game gets lost. Michael Peterson comes back for the first time. He gets the call for the eighth inning, and obviously, if you guys recall, Michael Peterson got hurt after he took that shot on the forearm in the San Diego Padres series. I think last week or last weekend. And obviously he was day to day, so he came back for the first time tonight, and boy, it went absolutely horrible. Train wreck, horribly wrong. This is a decision that you cannot blame Clay McCullough on. I do not criticize Clay McCullough at all for this. Michael Peterson has been one of the best bullpen arms that we've had all season. And the bullpen is very hit or miss, and it's not particularly strong. So when you get one of your most consistent top bullpen arms back, you should be able to you should put him in and use him without hesitation upon his availability. And that's what Clay McCullough did tonight. So I applaud him for that. This is all Michael Peterson. Michael Peterson, he recorded the first 2 outs of the eighth inning quickly, easy. Looks like he was going through everything smoothly. If I can recall, I think he recorded a strikeout. But then after he got the 2 outs, couldn't get the third one. He could not get the third one, and what ended up happening was he allowed 3 consecutive 2-out hits, 2-out base hits, to lose the game, 4-2. So the game was tied at 2. Gets the first 2 outs, and then he allows 3 straight 2-out hits to, for the Mets to drive in 2 runs and win the game. Very unfortunate. I have the scorecast up here. Yeah, Luis Robert, who also, by the way, was the same guy who reached base on the Graham Pauley error that allowed Francisco Lindor to score. So Luis Robert, he gets on base, and then he's able to basically score the game-winning runs or drive in the game-winning runs as he ended up singling to left field, which brought home Bo Bichette and Carson Bench home to give the Mets the 4-2 win. And of course, because the offense is lethargic and unproductive and listless, they put up an 0 in the ninth. So that ends this night tonight. With the loss, the Marlins dropped to 55-55. They are now 0-4 against the Mets this season at Citi Field, which is a total disgusting statistic in my opinion. And now all of a sudden they are 2.5 games back behind the Phillies and Diamondbacks for a National League wild card spot. And this is such a missed opportunity because the Phillies and Diamondbacks did not play today, and the Pirates, Nationals, and Cardinals ended up losing. So we could have picked up another game. We could have picked up another game today. But of course, we can never do that. So, very frustrating loss. By the way, Owen Casey ended up homering for the second time in his AAA stint, in his rehab stint down in Jacksonville. He needs to come back up. So, hopefully, for tomorrow night's contest, he comes back, he gets inserted back into the lineup, and he comes back and he does something. Because obviously, it's not a secret, we need Owen Casey. Because this offense has been absolutely horrendous without his services. We need him back. So if he can come back tomorrow, that'll be great. But either way, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and listening. And hopefully the Marlins can pick up a win tomorrow and tie this 4-game series at 2. We need to win this series against the Mets. There is no excuse. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll be with Colin on a trade deadline episode, and I'll hopefully get another recap out tomorrow. As always, go Fish.